Uglies is a 2005 science fiction novel by Scott Westerfeld. It is set in a future post-scarcity dystopian world in which everyone is turned pretty by extreme cosmetic surgery upon reaching age 16. It tells the story of teenager Tally Youngblood who rebels against society's enforced conformity, after her newfound friends Shay and David show her the downsides to becoming a pretty. Written for young adults, Uglies deals with themes of change, both emotional and physical. The book is the first installment in what was originally a trilogy, the Uglies series, which also includes the books Pretties, specials, and extras. The book shares many themes with the 1964 The Twilight Zone episode number 12 Looks Just Like You. The author of the books noted that he saw the episode in his childhood but had forgotten the details. Plot: 300 years in the future, the government provides for everything, including plastic surgery operations. Everyone on their 16th birthday receives the A-Euro Prettier Euro operation, which transforms them into the society's standard of beautiful. After the operation, new pretties cross the river that divides the city and lead a new life with no responsibilities or obligations. There are two other operations available, one to transform pretties into a Euro middle pretties a Euro, and another to transform middle pretties into crumblies. Former cities have decayed after bacteria infected the world's petroleum, making it unstable. The old society, so dependent on oil, fell apart when cars and oil fields exploded and food could no longer be transported. People who lived before this catastrophe are called rusties. Tally Youngblood is almost 16. Like every other Ugly, she awaits the operation with great anticipation. Her best friend, Pretties, has already had the operation and, motivated by her desire to see him, Tally sneaks across the river to New Pretty Town. There she meets Shay, another Ugly. They become friends and Shay teaches Tally how to ride a hoverboard. Shay also mentions rebelling against the operation. At first, Tally ignores the idea, but is forced to deal with it when Shay runs away a few days before their shared 16th birthday, leaving behind cryptic directions to her destination, a Euro or renegade settlement Euro called The Smoke, where city runaways go to escape the operation. On the day of Tally Euro unregistered trademark S operation, she is taken to special circumstances, a division that is likened to a Euro Gremlins Euro and a Euro A, blamed when anything weird happens. Dr. Cable, a woman who is described as a Euro a cruel prettier Euro, is the head of special circumstances. She gives Tally an ultimatum to either help locate Shay and the Smoke, or never become a pretty. Tally cooperates and Dr. Cable gives her a hoverboard and all the needed supplies to survive in the wild, along with a heart locket that contains a tracking device. Once activated, it will show the location of the Smoke to special circumstances. Following Shay's clues, Tally sets off to find her friend. When Tally arrives at the Smoke, she finds Shay, her friend David and an entire community of runaway Uglies. She is reluctant to activate the pendant and it eventually becomes clear that David is in love with her. David takes her to meet his parents, Maddie and Oz, who are the original runaways from the city. They explain how the operation does more than a Euro cosmetic nipping and tucking a Euro, it also causes lesions in the brain to make the people placid, or a Euro pretty-minded. A Euro horrified, Tally decides to keep the Smoke secret and throws the locket into a fire. However, the flame's heat causes the tracker to activate, giving away the Smoke Euro unregistered trademark S location. The following morning, special circumstances arrives at the camp and Tally makes an effort to escape. She does not succeed and is caught and taken to a rabbit pen, where other caught Smokies are kept, tied up. Eye scans are taken of all the captured Smokies, identifying from which city they fled. Tally is then taken to Dr. Cable, who explains how they found the Smoke. Dr. Cable thinks Tally purposefully activated the pendant. After being ordered to retrieve the pendant, Tally escapes on a hoverboard. After a long and stressful chase, she manages to hide in a cave where they cannot track her heat signature. There she finds David also hiding and together, they begin to plan a rescue. Tally and David go back to his house, where they find evidence that special circumstances took Maddie and Oz. David leads Tally to a secret stash of survival equipment where they find everything they need, and load them onto the 4 hoverboards stashed there. As Tally and David travel back to the city to free their friends, they fall in love. Arriving at the Special Circumstances complex, they discover that Shay has already been a eternid and is now a Pretty. After meeting Dr. Cable, David knocks her out and takes her work tablet, which contains all the necessary information to reverse the brain lesions created by the Pretty operation. Tally and David then free all the Smokies held in the complex. As they escape the complex, Maddie tells David that his father, Oz, is dead. Once everyone is safe, Maddie begins working on a cure using Dr. Cable's unregistered trademark tablet. She then offers it to Shay, who refuses, not wanting to become a vegetable since Tally feels responsible for her betrayal. She decides to become a Pretty and take the cure as a willing subjector. To convince David to let her go back to the city, she tells him about her involvement with Special Circumstances and searching for the smoke to betray them. While David is absorbing what Tally admitted, Maddie advises Tally to go back with Shay before she changes her mind. Once there, Tally announces to a middle Pretty, a OEIA unregistered trademark Tally Youngblood. "Make me pretty," the final phrase of the novel. Characters Uglies Tally Youngblood is the main character of the story. She is clever and loves tricks. Her ugly nickname is Squint. As the story progresses, she begins to stray from the rules of her city, and her assignment. She falls in love with David at the smoke. Together, Tally and David rescue the Smokies after the smoke is captured by Special Circumstances. In the end, she gives herself up to be Pretty and help Shay. Shay is Tally's new friend in Uglyville. She is an ugly nicknamed Skinny. They meet while Tally is fleeing from New Pretty City. Shay teaches Tally how to hoverboard and more about the outside world and the Rusties. Shay prefers to refer to Tally by her name, however, they occasionally call each other by their ugly nicknames to provoke each other. After a fight, Shay decides to grow up, and go to the smoke. Shay grows jealous of Tally's presence in the smoke, especially of her relationship with David. Shay realizes Tally's ultimate betrayal, but no longer cares once she is made Pretty. Smokies David, the son of the founders of the smoke, was not born in any city. Shay has an interest in David but he does not reciprocate her feelings. After Tally arrives at the smoke, his interest in her makes Shay jealous. David helps change Tally's unregistered trademark's feeling towards the cities. He wears hand-sewn clothing, made from animal skins, and has survival skills which he passes on to Tally. Maddie is David's unregistered trademark's mother. She tells Tally about the brain lesions caused by the Pretty surgery, and later develops a cure for the lesions. She is a founder of the smoke. Oz is David's unregistered trademark's father, and dies in an operation. As part of the Pretty Special Committee, he discovered the brain lesions that the Pretty surgery causes and suspects the lesions are intentional. He is a founder of the smoke. Croy is another Smoky. He is originally from Uglyville and knows Shay. He is originally suspicious of Tally, but grows to trust her. Specials Dr. Cable is the head of Special Circumstances, and the one who denies Tally the operation until she finds Shay. She sends Specials to destroy the smoke. She is described as having an aquiline nose, non-reflective grey eyes, a razor-like voice, and sharp teeth. Pretties Pretties, Tally unregistered trademark's best friend, is 3 months older than Tally and thus has become a Pretty. He helps Tally decide to betray Shay. His ugly nickname was Nose. Ellie Youngblood is Tally unregistered trademark's mother who helps Tally decide to turn on Shay. She is a middle Pretty. Sol Youngblood is Tally's father who helps Tally decide to turn on Shay. He is a middle Pretty. Zane is the leader of the Crims, and once knew Croy. Croy planned to run away but Zane didn't want to go and now regrets his action. He is eager to help Tally when she tries to find the object Croy has hidden for her. He helps her along the way and keeps her bubbly. Major motifs. Identity equals, according to critics, Uglies contains themes of identity, particularly regarding teenagers. Philip Goff said the government of Tally unregistered trademark scarcity, which controls what happens within the operation, removes responsibility for identity, creating sameness and uniformity. By placing heavy emphasis on the role of individualism, the novel shows the importance of an unregistered trademark self-concept. Because identity is formed by displacement, and all citizens are carefully sheltered, there is no chance for them to branch out into independence. Physical identity is determined by committees, noted Goff in his essay discussing Westerfeld unregistered trademark novel. Due to the lack of choice, all markers of physical identity are destroyed by their government. Beauty equals, Christiane Scott and M. Heather Dragoon note that another recurring theme in the image-obsessed society, is beauty, and its recurring relationship with individuality. Goff agreed, commenting that when everyone is equal, beauty loses its meaning. Beauty went hand in hand with identity. Uglies were taught to think of their bodies and faces as a temporary, something that will be replaced later with cosmetic surgery. A strong line is drawn to connect features with personality, and one critic stated that the characters develop ugly and pretty personalities with each stage of their operations. Dystopian society equals, utopia resting on ruthless suppression of individual freedom. Was Amanda Craig of the Thames unregistered trademark description of Tally unregistered trademark city. Many critics identified the trend of a controlling government in the novel. People in the protagonist unregistered trademark world are programmed and designed by the Pretty Committee, with no say-so in their operation, and identity is placed firmly in the hands of the state. Dragoon and Scott point out how segregated the city is, with Pretties, Uglies, Middlies, and Crumblies neatly divided into different sections. Many reviewers have commented on the way in which the city manipulates its inhabitants, including the supposedly rebellious Uglies, who are nothing more than edosal bodies. Humanity equals. Various critics also found a theme of humanity within Uglies. Philip Goff noted that Pretties and Specials are post-human because of their operations. Others, including Scott and Dragoon, argued against this, claiming human body provides an artistic and political canvas for intentional manipulation, and that this physical transformation can be an outlet for humanity. The novel Uglies seems to take no definite stance on it, though clearer points are shown in Pretties and Specials, the following books in the trilogy. Background: when asked how he came up with the idea of Uglies, Westerfeld said, "The inspiration came from a friend whose dentist asked him to consider getting cosmetic surgery. He is the son of a computer programmer for Univg, which meant he grew up familiar with the cutting edge of 1960s technology." Amanda Craig said that it is his prescient perception of how such inventions will lead to absolute loss of privacy which has elicited as much fan mail as the issue of how looks dominate our lives. Reception: the novel has received mostly positive reviews. The Baroque Body praised the novel as having a creative slang, unique technical gadgets, and defining characteristics of personhood. Choridoctora complimented its perfect parables of adolescent life, and stated that it is a fine science fiction for youth. Jennifer Matson claimed it to be a ingenious. Read Business Information praised the convincing plot and noted that it is highly readable. However, Publishers Weekly commented that Tally was or the passive protagonist. In the United Kingdom Times complained that Tally herself is a bit too vague as a character. Critic Jennifer Matson noted that the brisk pace of the novel as being bad for convincing relationships. The novel sparked discussion over the use of plastic surgery to improve one's looks. The author said he has received many letters from girls who have decided against having surgery since reading Uglies, while others, sparked by Uglies, have started to ponder the ethics of changing your body unregistered trademark appearance. Westerfeld has theorized that having extreme cosmetic surgery will be like buying a $1,000 Gucci bag, an indication that you are a member of the privileged class. Critics echo his opinion. However, Westerfeld has also stated he would unregistered trademark hesitate to use plastic surgery if he had a kid with port wine stain. We have all been altering our appearances ever since clothing was invented. Other critics have stated that while altering one's appearance with plastic surgery can be ethically debatable, the benefits of it to people who have need for it are tremendous. There is also some moderate debate sparked by Uglies over the issue of monitoring people. The state has started to track teens through their cell phones and on occasion through dental implants. Westerfeld feels that this will result in a total loss of privacy. However, others feel that this technology is necessary to properly supervise people. Adaptions. Film 20th Century Fox and producer John Davis bought the film rights to the novel in 2006. The movie was originally scheduled to be released in 2011, according to the Internet Movie Database, but the release date was pushed back. The movie Uglies was once again in the works as of July 3, 2013. Graphic novel Stephen Cummings illustrated Uglies in a manga-style graphic novel written by Westerfeld and Devin K. Grayson called Shay's Story, which tells the story from Shay's perspective. It was published in a black-and-white 5 3/4 x 8 1/4 inches format by Del Rey Manga in 2012. There has also been an audio recording made of the book, available on both CD and cassette. Publication history. The novel Uglies was first published in 2006, and re-released in 2011 with a new cover. It is the first part of a trilogy, with sequels Pretties, and specials, and another book extras. The trilogy featured on the New York Times bestseller list for a significant amount of time. Bibliography, Westerfeld, Scott. Uglies. Uglies Trilogy 1. New York, Simon Pulse. Pages 406. ISBN 978-1-4424-1981-0. References. External links, author's official website, book excerpt, official Uglies series downloadable site, author page at Pulse Blogfest, Uglies on user-based casting.